Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Coming up in the next hour. Trump vows strong action if protesters are hanged in Iran, urges Iranians to keep protesting and says help is on its way as death toll climbs to at least 2,000. Iran accuses US of seeking pretext for military intervention. India and the US discuss trade, critical minerals and nuclear powers. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio and India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar holds a phone call. South Korea court to give verdict in ex-president's martial law case on February 19th as prosecutors seek death penalty for Yoon. US designates Egyptian, Lebanese and Jordanian branches of the Muslim Brotherhood as global terrorists, citing their support for Hamas. Egypt welcomes the move while the group vows to challenge the decision. And in cricket, India to take on New Zealand in the second ODI in Rajkot with an aim to seal the series. Men in blue leading with 1-0 in three-match series. On to the details now. US President Donald Trump on Tuesday warned of unspecified, very strong action if Iranian authorities go ahead with threatened hangings of some protesters, with Iran calling American warnings a pretext for military intervention. Tensions in Iran continue to escalate, with officials reporting that the death toll has surpassed 2,000. For the first time, authorities have given an overall death toll since the protest began on 28th of December last year. US President Donald Trump warned Iran that the United States would react strongly if authorities in Iran started hanging people in their crackdown on uprising against the government, and assured that help was on its way, urging protesters to continue their demonstrations. Trump also cancelled all meetings with Iranian officials until the senseless killing of protesters stopped. Trump comments came after Iranian authorities said that they will press charges punishable by death against some individuals arrested during recent demonstrations.
You're going to have to figure that one out, I'm sorry.
How many people have been killed in Iran?
Nobody's been able to give me an accurate number. I have heard numbers from everything's a lot. One is a lot. But I've heard numbers much lower and I've heard numbers much higher. We'll be knowing. We're probably going to find out over the next 24 hours. I think it's a lot.
Trump didn't reveal if any decision about Iran was made, instead informing that he expected an update on the situation soon.
Iran is on my mind when I see the kind of death that is happening over there, we think. So we're going to get some accurate numbers. I'll have it in about 20 minutes. We'll get some accurate numbers as to what's happening with regard to the killing. The killing looks like it's significant, but we don't know yet for certain. I'll know within 20 minutes. So, and we'll act accordingly.
Iran accused the United States of trying to create a justification for military intervention. In a post on X, Iran's mission to the United Nations said US fantasies and policy towards Iran are rooted in regime change, with sanctions, threats, engineered unrest and chaos serving as the modus operandi to manufacture a pretext for military intervention. The protests began over the fall in value of the currency and have grown into wider demonstrations and calls for the fall of the clerical establishment. Bureau Report, DD India. Well, the United States on Tuesday designated the Egyptian, Lebanese and Jordanian branches of the Muslim Brotherhood as global terrorists. The move, which Washington formally set in motion last November, will bring sanctions against one of the Arab world's oldest and most influential Islamist movements. Now, the Washington accused the trio of supporting or encouraging violent attacks against Israel and U.S. partners, citing in part what it called their support for Palestinian terrorist group Hamas. Also, Egypt's foreign ministry welcomed the move, describing it as a crucial step that reflects the gravity of the group and its extremist ideology. It added that the group represents a direct threat of regional and international security and stability. The Muslim Brotherhood won Egypt's first free presidential election in 2012, but was overthrown by the military a year later after mass protest against its rule, and has endured a fierce crackdown by authorities since then. And in the days since deposing Nicolas Maduro, President Trump has given several justifications for his dramatic action in Venezuela. But the thing Trump is most focused on, the thing he keeps pointing to as central to his ambitions, is oil, specifically opening Venezuela's vast oil fields to American companies. He reiterated the same yet again on Tuesday while speaking at an event in Detroit. He said that the U.S. is taking in millions and millions of barrels of oil worth billions of dollars from the South American country, and in the passage will to make that country very strong again.
We're bringing Venezuela back, and we're going to be great for Venezuela, great for our country. We're taking in, as I said, millions and millions of barrels of oil, and now they're coming in initially on a daily basis, 50 million, and values of over $5 billion. That's in one day. We're going to work with Venezuela. We'll make that country very strong again. We'll get oil prices down even further. We have it down at about a 6-year low, 7-year low, but we're going to get it down.
Meanwhile, Washington continues to consolidate control of oil shipments in and out of Caracas. The U.S. government has filed for court warrants to seize dozens more tankers linked to the Venezuelan oil trade. The U.S. military and Coast Guard have seized 5 vessels in recent weeks in international waters that were either carrying Venezuelan oil or have done so in the past. Trump imposed a blockade to prevent sanctioned tankers from shipping Venezuelan oil in December that brought exports close to a standstill. Shipments have resumed this week under U.S. supervision. And Venezuela's state energy company, PDVSA, has begun reversing oil production cuts made under a strict U.S. oil embargo as crude exports resume under U.S. supervision. The state company is now instructing the joint ventures to resume output from well clusters that were shut. Meanwhile, the third oil tanker set sail from Venezuela's coast on Tuesday, signaling a Bahamas terminal as destination. Now, notably, the OPEC members' oil exports fell close to zero in the weeks after the United States imposed a blockade on oil shipments in December, with only U.S. oil major Chevron exporting crude from its joint ventures with PDVSA under U.S. license. Well, the social network X was once again accessible in Venezuela on Tuesday, more than a year after users were blocked by deposed President Nicolas Maduro, who was captured by U.S. forces last week. After the July 2024 election, Maduro was declared the winner amid allegations of fraud and suspended the platform in August. Prior to that, X had been a prominent social media network for Venezuelans, but the blockade meant ministers, lawmakers and government institutions stopped updating their pages. And still to come in DD India Newshour. Uganda cuts internet and mobile services days ahead of election, and Museveni seeks the 7th term. And we'll get you weather updates from around the globe.
Jharkhand will mesmerize you. With majestic nature, rich heritage and colorful culture.
Johar. Johar. It fits perfectly.
Thank you.
Full workout हो गया.
Ready?
Postcards from Jharkhand on National Geographic.
Welcome to a happy place. To nature's warm embrace. Witness the power of faith, fruits of hard work, and protectors of Mother Earth. Unique in every way. Discover something new every day. A small state with big ambitions and a bigger heart. Mizoram welcomes to love, laughter and celebrations.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Kuran, and moving on, Russian forces had launched massive strikes on Ukrainian energy and military-industrial infrastructure with precision-guided munitions and drones, while Ukraine reported that its troops had attacked a Russian drone factory. In its latest briefing, the Russian Defense Ministry said that over the past 24 hours, Russian military forces targeted over 150 sites, including ammunition depots, fuel warehouses and temporary deployment points for Ukrainian troops and foreign mercenaries. The Russian forces also shot down multiple Ukrainian drones in Rostov and Belgorod regions. The attacks triggered power outages in several regions, including Kyiv and Odessa, said Ukraine's Ministry of Energy. Meanwhile, the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine reported that its forces had struck a Russian drone plant in Rostov Oblast. And moving on, demonstrations continued outside the federal building and within the communities nearly a week after the fatal shooting of Rennie Good by a federal officer. Federal agents clashed with the protesters in St. Paul and Minneapolis on Tuesday. At the Whipple Federal Building in St. Paul, federal agents deployed flashbangs as protesters shouted and confronted the officers. Authorities arrested at least one woman during the confrontation. Clashes also took place in Minneapolis, where federal agents deployed tear gas and pepper balls towards the protesters. And moving on, South Korea's special prosecutor requested a death penalty on Tuesday for former President Yoon Suk-yeol on charges of masterminding an insurrection over his brief imposition of martial law in December 2024. Now, South Korea has not carried out a death sentence in nearly 3 decades. In closing arguments at the Seoul Central District Court, a prosecutor said investigators confirmed the existence of a scheme allegedly directed by Yoon and his former defense minister Kim Yong-hyun dating back to October 2023, designed to keep Yoon in power. Although Yoon has denied the charges, saying he declared martial law to fend off the wickedness that would ruin the nation, the court is expected to rule on the case in February. And Costa Rica's government on Tuesday said it had uncovered a plot to assassinate President Rodrigo Chaves on the eve of national elections in which his right-wing parties tipped for victory. The popular Chaves, constitutionally barred from seeking a second consecutive term, has backed one of his former ministers, Laura Fernandez, to succeed him. Fernandez is riding high in polls with the campaign to crack down hard on drug traffickers, blamed for a surge in violence in the picture postcard Caribbean country. George Torres, head of the Central American Nations Directorate of Intelligence and National Security, cited a confidential source as informing the agency that an assassin had been paid to kill Chaves. And Ugandan authorities cut internet access and limited mobile services across the country on Tuesday, 2 days before an election in which President Yoweri Museveni will stand for a contentious seventh term after 4 decades in power. The Uganda Communication Commission ordered mobile service providers to shut down public internet connections in order to curb misinformation, disinformation, electoral fraud and related risks. Security forces have detained hundreds of opposition supporters in the run-up to the election and repeatedly fired live bullets and tear gas at campaign events in support of Museveni's leading challenger, pop star Bobby Wine. Uganda's government had on December 22nd dismissed claims that it planned to shut down the internet during the January 15th election. And the Danish and Greenlandic foreign ministers plan to tell Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio during a White House meeting on Wednesday that Greenland is not for sale and will remain under Danish governance. The meeting comes after days of threats by Trump to use military force to seize the autonomous Danish territory. NATO too said it is discussing next steps to maintain security in the Arctic, while European Union countries are considering invoking the Mutual Defence Clause of the EU treaty.
Diplomacy has intensified in the Arctic Circle amid Trump's warning of taking control over Greenland and autonomous territory of Denmark. In a high-stakes attempt to lower the temperature, Danish Foreign Minister Lars Rasmussen and Greenlandic counterpart Vivian will meet US Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio in Washington on Wednesday. Meanwhile, taking a stricter stand, Greenland Prime Minister has categorically ruled out joining the US and said the Arctic territory prefers to be in a union with Denmark. He is now suggesting putting independence plans on the back burner for now.
Greenland does not want to be owned by the USA. Greenland does not want to be governed by the USA. Greenland will not be part of the USA. We choose the Greenland we know today, which is part of the Kingdom of Denmark. Now we are faced with a geopolitical crisis. And if we have to choose between the USA and Denmark here and now, we choose Denmark. We choose NATO. We choose the Kingdom of Denmark. We choose the EU. This is not the time for internal discussion and division. This is the time to stand together and build on the community we know and we want.
The sentiment was echoed by his Danish counterpart, while Trump strongly dismissed the remarks.
This is not just about Greenland or the kingdom. It is about not being able to change borders by force, not being able to buy another people, and it is about small countries not having to fear big countries. That is why we are clearly speaking out, and that is why many allies are doing the same, in the Nordic countries, in Europe, and in the rest of the world.
Meanwhile, German Foreign Minister has said that both Greenland and Denmark should decide the future of the island.
I feel like he should rather focus.
Residents in Greenland's capital have also expressed support for remaining part of Denmark. Trump's administration has repeatedly claimed Greenland's strategic importance to US national security. While Denmark has ruled Greenland for centuries, the territory has gradually been moving towards independence since 1979. Denmark now faces growing pressure to bolster Arctic defenses to counter geopolitical tensions. Danish Defence Minister plans to meet NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte in Brussels next week, with multinational NATO exercises in Greenland scheduled by 2026. Bureau Report, DD India.
And French far-right leader Marine Le Pen said on Tuesday she had no sense of having committed any offence at the opening of an appeals trial, which she hopes will save her 2027 run for the president. The appeal comes after a French court last year barred Le Pen, leader of the far-right National Rally, from running for office for 5 years over a European Parliament fake job scam. If the ban is upheld, she will not be able to stand in the 2027 presidential election. Le Pen was also handed a 4-year prison sentence with 2 years suspended and fined $116,000 in the initial trial. The case at the Paris Court of Appeal will last until 12th of February, but a ruling is not expected before the summers. And US President Donald Trump on Tuesday rejected criticism from JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon over his attacks on the Federal Reserve, brushing aside concerns about weakening the central bank's independence. Speaking to reporters at Joint Base Andrews after returning from Michigan, Trump argued the Fed was mismanaged and should be lowering interest rates. He also took aim at the Fed chair, pointing out that the official's term had been extended under former President Joe Biden. Trump maintained that Dimon's assessment was incorrect and reiterated his view that borrowing costs should be reduced.
Yeah, I think it's fine what I'm doing. We have a bad Fed person. He was extended by Biden. And yeah, I think he's wrong. I think it's wrong. He's done a bad job. We should have lower rates. Jamie Dimon probably wants higher rates. Maybe he makes more money that way.
Well, the heads of major central banks rallied behind the U.S. Federal Reserve and its chair, Jerome Powell, stressing that protecting central bank independence was essential. The joint statement followed an unprecedented move by U.S. prosecutors who issued subpoenas threatening criminal charges against Powell, widely viewed as an escalation of President Donald Trump's campaign against the Fed. Powell responded by pledging to pursue monetary policy free from political influence. The statement, backed by leaders including ECB chief Christine Lagarde and Bank of England Governor Andrew Bailey, praised Powell's integrity and commitment to the public interest. Trump, however, accused Powell of mismanaging an expensive Fed headquarters renovation and questioned his competence. JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon warned that political pressure on the Fed could prove counterproductive. Former Fed leaders and some Republican senators also condemned the investigation as an attack on the Fed's independence. And atrocities against minorities in Bangladesh continue to raise serious concerns even as the country prepares for a national election and faces mounting criticism over governance and reforms.
Atrocities against Hindus in Bangladesh continue to raise serious concerns as a 20-year-old Hindu auto rickshaw driver, Samir Kumar Das, was beaten and stabbed to death in Feni district on Sunday night, adding to a growing list of violent incidents involving members of minority communities. The attackers fled with a CNG auto rickshaw. Police say the investigations are underway.
We are heavily invested emotionally, politically in Bangladesh. It is India which walked the extra mile in 1971 and stopped the persecution and the torture which was being inflicted on the then people of East Pakistan and created Bangladesh. So we have a history which I do think the Bangladeshis would also be cognizant about.
अभी बांग्लादेश गवर्नमेंट ने जो रॉन्ग रास्ता पे जो जा रहा है ये गलत है, सही नहीं है. इसको रोकना गवर्नमेंट का कर्तव्य है.
Meanwhile, as Bangladesh prepares for its general election, gender disparity has drawn criticism. Of the 2,568 candidates in the fray, only 109 are women. Women's rights groups have accused political parties and the Election Commission of failing to ensure meaningful female representation. On the other hand, Transparency International Bangladesh has criticized the interim government led by Mohammad Yunus over 8 recent ordinances, alleging reforms were weakened by bureaucratic interference. TIB said a lack of consultation and resistance from vested interests have undermined transparency and accountability. Violence, exclusion, and reform setbacks are putting Bangladesh's governance under sharp scrutiny ahead of polls, with killings of Hindus raising serious law and order concerns. Bureau Report, DD India.
And a tragic news coming in right now from Thailand. A train traveling from Thailand's capital to the country's northeast was derailed on a Wednesday after a construction crane fell on top of one of its carriages, killing at least 12 people and injuring at least 30. The accident took place on a Wednesday morning in the secure district of Nakhon Ratchasima province, 230 kilometers northeast of Bangkok, on a train bound for Ubon Ratchathani province. Now, the local police told a news agency Reuters that a crane working on a high-speed rail project collapsed and hit the passing train, causing it to derail and briefly also catch fire. Now, the fire has been extinguished and rescue work is still underway, police said. A tragic news coming in from Thailand. As we told you, a train traveling from Thailand's capital to the country's northeast was derailed on Wednesday after a construction crane fell on top of one of its carriages, killing at least 12 people and injuring at least 30 out there. Also, the accident took place on Wednesday morning in the Sikyo district of Nakhon Ratchasima province, which is around 230 kilometers northeast of Bangkok, on a train bound for Ubon Ratchathani province. Now, the local police told news agency Reuters that a crane working there on a high-speed rail project collapsed and hit the passing train, causing it to derail and briefly also catch fire. The fire has been extinguished and rescue work is still underway, as the police said. And moving on, Syria's army told Kurdish forces on Tuesday to withdraw from an area east of Aleppo after deadly clashes in the city last week, and as both sides reported fresh armed skirmishes breaking out overnight. Now, Syria's Islamist-led government is seeking to extend its authority across the country, but progress has stalled on integrating the Kurds' de facto autonomous administration and forces into the central government under a deal reached in March. The Syrian army and Kurdish forces reported fresh armed clashes overnight east of Aleppo. The area controlled by Kurdish forces extends from near Deir Haifa, around 50 kilometers from Aleppo, to the Euphrates, about 30 kilometers further east, as well as towards the south. And on to some weather updates from around the globe. Now, in Central Europe, a freezing rain led to travel disruptions, including flights being temporarily suspended at several airports. Extreme winter weather briefly closed Budapest airport on Tuesday due to black ice and extreme icing, grounding flights and causing major disruption to the travelers. The closure caused a backlog of delayed flights and a small number of cancellations as well. A thick layer of ice on the Vienna airport runways led to a temporary shutdown, with flights gradually resuming around midday on Tuesday. In neighboring Slovakia, the Bratislava airport was also closed temporarily early on Tuesday due to bad weather. In the Czech Republic, ice was also hampering road and rail traffic. Prague airport came to a virtual standstill, with firefighters having to de-ice the runways. And back home, the cold wave continues to grip large parts of India, bringing dense fog to cities and fresh snowfall in higher mountain regions. Delhi recorded its coldest January morning in 3 years on Tuesday, as the minimum temperature dropped to 3 degrees Celsius. Cold wave conditions are likely to persist over Delhi on Wednesday as well. Also, Delhi Airport issued an advisory early on Wednesday informing low visibility procedures are in progress and all flight operations are currently normal. Cold wave to severe cold wave conditions are very likely to prevail in some parts of Punjab, Haryana, Chandigarh on Wednesday and Thursday. Well, Himachal Pradesh may soon witness an end to a prolonged dry spell, but only in the higher reaches, with Shimla forecasting light rain or snowfall for 3 days starting Thursday. Further north, in the Kashmir region, Srinagar recorded a minimum temperature of minus 4.9 degrees Celsius, while Srinagar airport settled lower at minus 5.8 degrees Celsius. Jammu woke up to intense cold with dense fog covering the city and the minimum temperature settling at 3.8 degrees Celsius. Pulwama emerged among the coldest places in the valley with a minimum of minus 6.6 degrees Celsius. Conditions are becoming favourable for cessation of monsoon rains over Tamil Nadu, Puducherry and adjoining areas of coastal Andhra Pradesh. Isolated rainfall activity is likely over Kerala, Lakshadweep and Nicobar Islands as well. Dense fog conditions also likely during morning hours in isolated pockets over Sikkim, Assam and Meghalaya in the next few days. On the other hand, the planet just experienced its third warmest year on record, and average temperatures have exceeded 1.5 degrees centigrade of global warming over the last 3 years, the longest period since records began. The data from the European Union's European Centre for Medium-Range Weather Forecast confirmed that the last 3 years were the planet's 3 hottest since records began, with 2025 just marginally cooler than 2023 by 0.01 degrees centigrade. The warmest year on record was 2024. The world has also just experienced the first 3-year period in which the average global temperature was 1.5 degrees centigrade above the pre-industrial era, the limit beyond which scientists expect global warming will unleash severe impacts, some of them irreversible. Well, Australia also pledged an aid package of close to $67 million on Wednesday after large bushfires in its southeastern state of Victoria razed hundreds of buildings, forced dozens of communities to evacuate and killed one person. That the package is being jointly funded by the federal and state government of Victoria. The bushfires, which started last week during a summer heatwave, have torn through more than 400,000 hectares of land, over 770 buildings, including 228 homes, gutted under fire and cut power supply to thousands. 11 fires are still active across the state, with authorities warning firefighters will need weeks to bring them under control. And time now for a short break. We'll be back in a while.
This week on Defence Dynamics, why India's development of electromagnetic railguns so important for modern battlefield doctrine? What is Drishti 10 and why is it emerging as a critical pillar of India's maritime security? Why India's successful conduct of long-duration ground test of scramjet combustor so strategic for India's hypersonic missile program. And in my take, we decode why Pakistan is pushing the JF-17 across the Islamic world. Watch Defence Dynamics this Wednesday at 8 PM IST only on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Nipakshi Khurana, and time now for a quick recap of the headlines. India and the US discuss trade, critical minerals and nuclear powers. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio and India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar holds a phone call. South Korea court to give verdict in ex-president's martial law case on February 19th as prosecutors seek a death penalty for Yoon. US designates Egyptian, Lebanese and Jordanian branches of the Muslim Brotherhood as global terrorists, citing their support for Hamas. Egypt welcomes the move while the group vows to challenge the decision. And in cricket, India to take on New Zealand in the second ODI in Rajkot with an aim to seal the series. Men in blue leading with 1-0 in 3-match series. And moving on, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar held a telephonic conversation with the US Secretary of State Marco Rubio on Tuesday. The two leaders held detailed discussion on trade, critical minerals, nuclear cooperation, defense and energy. Both sides agreed to remain in touch on these and other issues. And India has underscored the importance of securing critical mineral supply chains to power its clean energy and electronics growth. In attendance at a high-level ministerial meeting in the US, India's Union Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw said that access to critical minerals is vital for India's manufacturing resilience and climate goals. The Indian government is advancing this push through the National Critical Minerals Mission to support energy transition and electric mobility.
India on Monday participated in the Critical Minerals Ministerial meeting hosted by US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent in Washington. India's Minister of Electronics and IT, Ashwini Vaishnaw, represented the country in the high-level meeting. The minister said that strengthening critical mineral supply chains is vital to enhancing the resilience of India's manufacturing capabilities and rapidly growing electronics sector.
As we all know, and especially in India, when the manufacturing sector is growing rapidly, especially electronics manufacturing, it's very important for all the countries, including India, to have a resilient supply chain of critical minerals. So in this meeting, participants from various countries, they discussed their experience, the steps that they are taking in making the supply chain resilient, especially technology for refining, processing the mineral ores so that high quality critical minerals, especially the rare earth, permanent magnets, those kind of materials can be secured in a long term, in a sustainable manner.
India's stance on critical minerals, reiterated by IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw, highlights the country's commitment to its climate goals, which are 45% reduction in emissions intensity of GDP by 2030 from 2005 levels, 50% of installed power capacity from non-fossil sources by 2030, net zero emissions by 2070. The government says access to critical minerals is key to meeting India's long-term energy transition objectives. To achieve these climate goals, India launched the National Critical Mineral Mission in 2025. Its objective is to establish robust framework for self-reliance in the critical mineral sector. Under this mission, the Geological Survey of India has been tasked with holding 1,200 exploration projects from 2024-25 to 2030-31. The mission plays a vital role by building a resilient and self-reliant ecosystem for critical minerals. The mission focuses on boosting domestic production, encouraging private sector participation, strengthening international partnerships, and streamlining regulations to ensure a steady supply of minerals essential for clean energy technologies. The mission aims to secure India's critical mineral supply chain by ensuring mineral availability from domestic and foreign sources. Critical minerals have immense value in terms of being used as essential components of various clean energy technologies and industries like solar energy, wind energy, and as components in the making of electric vehicles. Under India's National Electric Mobility Mission Plan, the country plans to deploy 6 to 7 million EVs, leading to increased demand for these critical minerals. Bureau Report, DD India.
And President Draupadi Murmu salutes the valor, dedication and sacrifice of ex-servicemen on Veterans Day. On X, she wrote, and I quote, "On Veterans Day, I salute the valor, dedication and sacrifice of our ex-servicemen. Their unwavering courage continues to inspire every Indian." Occasions such as Veterans Day and Armed Forces Flag Day are not only opportunities to pay tribute to our brave soldiers, but also to extend meaningful support to them. I'm confident that our veterans will continue to remain deeply committed to the cause of the nation, unquote. And Defence Minister Rajkot Singh on X wrote, and I quote, "On Armed Forces Veterans Day, I bow in deep gratitude to our veterans and serving personnel whose lives are devoted to courage, honor and service before self. Their sacrifice, born with quiet resolve and unshakable faith, form the living shield of our borders, preserve the soul of our republic, and embody the enduring spirit of India. The nation's gratitude to its soldiers is eternal, and our commitment to the dignity, welfare, and well-being of veterans serving personnel and their families will remain absolute, unwavering, and resolute. Unquote. And as the sun begins its northward journey today, India celebrates Makar Sankranti, a festival that marks the triumph of light over darkness, warmth over winter, and hope over hardship. Rooted in both science and spirituality, this ancient observance honors the sun, the seasons, and the farmers of India. Here's a report. And now let's take you live where Prime Minister is celebrating Pongal in Delhi.
உழைப்பின் மேன்மை, இயற்கையின் பெருமை, நன்றியின் அளவு, உறவின் அழகு, மண்ணின் மனம், பண்பாட்டின் வண்ணம். பொங்கல் பண்டிகையை நம்மோடு இணைந்து கொண்டாடுவதற்காக நம்முடைய மாண்புமிகு பாரத பிரதமர் அவர்கள் இன்னும் சில நிமிடங்களில் விழா நிகழ்விடத்திற்கு வருகை தர இருக்கின்றார்கள் என்பதை மகிழ்ச்சியுடன் தெரிவித்துக் கொள்கின்றோம். நம்முடைய மாண்புமிகு பாரத பிரதமர் அவர்கள் இன்றைய நிகழ்விடத்திற்கு வருகை தரும்போது பத்மஸ்ரீ விருது பெற்ற கலைஞர்கள் நாதஸ்வரம் இசைத்தம் கொண்டாடுவதில்லை. தமிழர்கள் வாழக்கூடிய அனைத்து பகுதிகளிலும் இருக்கக்கூடிய நாடும் உலகமே இந்த பொங்கல் பண்டிகையை மிக சிறப்பாக கொண்டாடுகிறது. உழைப்பின் மேன்மை, இயற்கையின் பெருமை, நன்றியின் அளவு, உறவின் அழகு, மண்ணின் மனம், பண்பாட்டின் வண்ணம். பொங்கல் பண்டிகையை நம்மோடு இணைந்து கொண்டாடுவதற்காக நம்முடைய மாண்புமிகு பாரத பிரதமர் அவர்கள் இன்னும் சில நிமிடங்களில் விழா நிகழ்விடத்திற்கு வருகை தர இருக்கின்றார்கள் என்பதை மகிழ்ச்சியுடன் தெரிவித்துக் கொள்கின்றோம். நம்முடைய மாண்புமிகு பாரத பிரதமர் அவர்கள் இன்றைய நிகழ்விடத்திற்கு வருகை தரும்போது பத்மஸ்ரீ விருது பெற்ற கலைஞர்கள் நாதஸ்வரம் இசைத்தம் கொண்டாடுவதில்லை. தமிழர்கள் வாழக்கூடிய அனைத்து பகுதிகளிலும் இருக்கக்கூடிய
It carries a meaning far beyond the ceremony. It sends a powerful message that India's progress is deeply connected to its culture. And this is a momentous celebrations which carries a meaning far beyond the ceremony. It sends a powerful message that India's progress is deeply connected to its culture. And this is a momentous celebrations which carries a meaning far beyond the ceremony. It sends a powerful message that India's progress is deeply connected to its culture. And this is a momentous celebrations which carries a meaning far beyond the ceremony. It sends a powerful message that India's progress is deeply connected to its culture. And this is a momentous celebrations which carries a meaning far beyond the ceremony. It sends a powerful message that India's progress is deeply connected to its culture. And this is a momentous celebrations which carries a meaning far beyond the ceremony. It sends a powerful message that India's progress is deeply connected to its culture. And this is a momentous celebrations which carries a meaning far beyond the ceremony. It sends a powerful message that India's progress is deeply connected to its culture. And this is a momentous celebrations which carries a meaning far beyond the ceremony. It sends a powerful message that India's progress is deeply connected to its culture. And this is a momentous celebrations which carries a meaning Its cultural venue, and this is a momentous celebrations which carries a meaning far beyond the ceremony. It sends a powerful message that India's progress.
அத்துடன் பொங்கல் படைத்து உழவு தொழிலுக்கும் உழைப்பிற்கும் 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 பணிவன்புடன் வரவேற்கின்றோம்.
माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी, समस्त देशवासियों की ओर से आपको पोंगल के पावन पर्व की हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, we start with felicitation of Honorable Prime Minister. मैं श्री जी किशन रेड्डी, Honorable Union Minister of Coal and Mines को माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी को शॉल प्रदान कर आमंत्रित करती हूँ. और now Shri K. Ram Mohan Naidu felicitating Honorable Prime Minister, and now it's Dr. L. Murugan felicitating Honorable Prime Minister, who's being presented with a memento as well. It's a gift of Pongal for Honorable Prime Minister.
மாண்புமிகு பாரத பிரதமர் அவர்களுக்கு நினைவு பரிசு வழங்கி மரியாதை செய்யப்பட்டது. மாண்புமிகு பாரத பிரதமர் அவர்களை உரையாற்ற அன்புடன் அழைக்கின்றோம்.
Ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi.
வணக்கம். இனிய பொங்கல் நடுவாத்தகல आज पोंगल एक ग्लोबल फेस्टिवल बन चुका है. दुनिया भर में तमिल समुदाय और तमिल संस्कृति से प्रेम करने वाले लोग इसे उत्साह के साथ मनाते हैं. उसमें मैं भी एक हूं. इस विशेष पर्व को आप सभी के साथ मनाना मेरे लिए सौभाग्य की बात है. हमारे तमिल जीवन में पोंगल एक सुखद अनुभूति की तरह है. इसमें अन्नदाता की मेहनत, धरती और सूर्य के प्रति आभार का भाव है. साथ ही ये पर्व हमें प्रकृति, परिवार और समाज में संतुलन बनाने का रास्ता दिखाता है. इस समय देश के अलग अलग हिस्सों में लोहड़ी, मकर संक्रांति, माघ बिहू और अन्य त्योहारों की भी उमंग है. मैं भारत और दुनिया भर में रहने वाले सभी तमिल भाई बहनों को पोंगल की और सभी पर्वों की बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं देता हूं. साथियों, वैसे मेरे लिए ये भी बहुत सुखद रहा है कि पिछले वर्ष मुझे तमिल संस्कृति से जुड़े कई कार्यक्रमों में शामिल होने का अवसर मिला। मैंने तमिलनाडु में 1000 साल पुराने गंगईकोंडा चोलापुरम मंदिर में पूजा की। वाराणसी में काशी तमिल संगमम के दौरान सांस्कृतिक एकता की ऊर्जा को पल पल उसके साथ जहां भी रहा मैं जुड़ा रहा, मैंने उसे महसूस किया। जब मैं पंबन ब्रिज के लोकार्पण के लिए रामेश्वरम गया था तो तमिल इतिहास की महानता का फिर एक बार साक्षी बना था। हमारी तमिल संस्कृति पूरे भारत की साझी विरासत है। इतना ही नहीं, पूरी मानवता की ये साझी विरासत है। मैं एक भारत श्रेष्ठ भारत की जिस भावना की बात करता हूं, उसे पोंगल जैसे पर्व और सशक्त बनाते हैं। साथियों, दुनिया की लगभग सभी सभ्यताओं में फसलों से जुड़ा कोई न कोई उत्सव मनाया जाता है। तमिल संस्कृति में किसान को जीवन का आधार माना गया है। तिरुकुरल में कृषि और किसानों पर विस्तार से लिखा गया है। हमारे किसान राष्ट्र निर्माण के मजबूत साथी है। उनके प्रयासों से आत्मनिर्भर भारत अभियान को बहुत मजबूती मिल रही है। केंद्र सरकार भी किसानों को सशक्त बनाने के लिए प्रतिबद्ध होकर लगातार काम कर रही है। साथियों, पोंगल का त्योहार हमें प्रेरित करता है कि प्रकृति के प्रति आभार केवल शब्दों तक सीमित न रहे, उसे हम जीवन शैली का हिस्सा बनाएं। जब ये धरती हमें इतना कुछ देती है, उसे संजोने का दायित्व भी हमारा है। अगली पीढ़ी के लिए मिट्टी को स्वस्थ रखना, पानी को बचाना और संसाधनों का संतुलित उपयोग करना सबसे जरूरी है। मिशन लाइफ, एक पेड़ मां के नाम, अमृत सरोवर जैसे हमारा अभियान इसी भावना को आगे बढ़ाते हैं। हम खेती को अधिक सस्टेनेबल और पर्यावरण के अनुकूल बनाने के लिए निरंतर काम कर रहे हैं। आने वाले समय में सस्टेनेबल खेती के तरीके, वाटर मैनेजमेंट, मैं तो लगातार कहता रहा हूं, पर ड्रॉप मोर क्रॉप, नेचुरल फार्मिंग, एग्रीटेक और वैल्यू एडिशन की भूमिका बेहद महत्वपूर्ण है। इन सभी क्षेत्रों में हमारे युवा नई सोच के साथ आगे बढ़ रहे हैं। कुछ ही महीने पहले मैं तमिलनाडु में नेचुरल फार्मिंग से जुड़े एक सम्मेलन में शामिल हुआ था, जहां मैंने देखा कि हमारे तमिल युवा कितना बेहतरीन काम कर रहे हैं। यानी प्रोफेशनल लाइफ की बड़ी बड़ी चीजें छोड़ करके वो खेत में काम कर रहे हुए मुझे मिले। मैं खेती से जुड़े अपने युवा तमिल मित्रों से आग्रह करता हूं कि वे सस्टेनेबल खेती में क्रांति लाने के इस अभियान का और विस्तार करें। हमारा लक्ष्य ये होना चाहिए कि हमारी थाली भी भरी रहे, हमारी जेब भी भरी रहे और हमारी धरती भी सुरक्षित रहे। साथियों, तमिल संस्कृति दुनिया की सबसे प्राचीन जीवित सभ्यताओं में से एक है। तमिल संस्कृति सदियों को जोड़ती है। वो इतिहास से सीखकर वर्तमान को आगे का रास्ता दिखाती है। इसी प्रेरणा से आज का भारत अपनी जड़ों से शक्ति लेकर नई संभावनाओं की ओर आगे बढ़ रहा है। आज पोंगल के इस पावन अवसर पर हम उस विश्वास को महसूस कर रहे हैं जो भारत को आगे बढ़ा रहा है। एक ऐसा भारत जो अपनी संस्कृति से जुड़ा है, अपनी धरती का सम्मान करता है और भविष्य को लेकर भरोसे में भरा हुआ है। इनिय पोंगल नलवा अकड़क्तुक्कल वाळगा तमिल वळगा भारतम। एक बार फिर आप सभी को पोंगल की बहुत बहुत बधाई, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। वणक्कम।
All right, we were getting you live visuals as Prime Minister Narendra Modi celebrated Pongal today at the residence of Union Minister Dr. L. Murugan in Delhi, joining the spirit of harvest and gratitude that defines the vibrant festival of Tamil culture. We could see Prime Minister worshipping the cattle as well. Pongal, celebrated at the onset of Uttarayan, is a 4-day Tamil harvest festival celebrating gratitude to the sun god, Mother Nature and farm animals for a bountiful harvest, marking the start of the auspicious Tamil month of Thai. On the occasion, Prime Minister extended his greetings to the people for all the festivals being celebrated across the country right now, including Lohri and Makar Sankranti, and said that celebrating Pongal with everyone was a very pleasant experience for him. Prime Minister began his speech with a Tamil salutation, Vanukam. Prime Minister mentioned about the importance of Tamil culture and history and his association with it. He said that saving the soil, water and using resources carefully was very important for the coming generations, and he said that sustainable farming was very, very important, and how the youth is moving ahead with new ideas was really great. And he also mentioned the importance of idea of per drop, more crop, so that every drop can be used carefully. He said that the government is making all the efforts to empower the farmers, and he said that today's India is moving forward in all the fields. Well, earlier, Prime Minister Narendra Modi extended Pongal greetings to the people of Tamil Nadu, beginning his written message with the traditional Tamil salutation, Vanukam. In his letter, the Prime Minister wrote that Pongal reflects the close bond between human labor and nature and underlined its deep connection with farming, rural life and the dignity of work. He acknowledged the contribution of farmers and workers, noting that the festival reinforces unity, gratitude and togetherness across generations. Highlighting Tamil Nadu's cultural legacy, Prime Minister Modi said Pongal is a shining symbol of Tamil traditions and expressed pride in Tamil being one of the world's oldest languages. He added that the festival has grown beyond regional boundaries and is now celebrated with enthusiasm across India and by Tamil communities worldwide. Well, the Prime Minister also noted that families come together during Pongal to prepare traditional dishes and share joy, strengthening social bonds as well. Concluding his message, he wished people prosperity, success and good health, expressing hope that the festival would bring happiness for all. Across India's southern state of Tamil Nadu, the spirit of Pongal is already in the air. The 4-day festival reflects unity, tradition and joy.
Students in Tamil Nadu's Thoothukudi district are taking part in celebrations ahead of the annual harvest festival, Pongal. Dressed in traditional outfits, students in schools and colleges are showcasing their skills in folk dances and music.
Parents enjoyed a lot. There were many skits and Tamil songs were sung. We showed traditional pots. We were taken on bullock cart rides. We enjoyed a lot. We were served pongal too. It was delicious.
At the Government Nursing Training College, students participated in games and cultural programs in the spirit of equality.
We celebrated Samatuva Pongal, keeping all difference among us away. We played many traditional Tamil games. We also performed Tamil folk arts. We pray that everyone should be able to celebrate Pongal like we did.
At Holy Heart College in Tirupattur, African students joined in the celebrations with equal excitement. In Madurai, preparations are in full swing for the Avaniyapuram Jallikattu, the bull taming event held around Pongal. Some foreign nationals participated in a Pongal event held at Tiruchirappalli District Collectorate. Government officials too immersed themselves in the Pongal spirit at Theni District Collectorate. The 4-day Pongal festival will be celebrated across Tamil Nadu from Wednesday.
The sun begins its northward journey from today. India celebrates Makar Sankranti, a festival that marks the triumph of light over darkness, warmth over winters, and hope over hardship. Rooted in both science and spirituality, this ancient observance honors the sun, the seasons, and the farmers of India. Here's a report.
Makar Sankranti is one of the few festivals that falls on the same date across India, yet wears 1,000 colors. In Gujarat, Uttarayan fills the sky with vibrant kites, symbolizing freedom, joy and aspiration. In Punjab and Haryana, Lori bonfires glow as families sing, dance and offer thanks for the harvest. Across villages and cities, homes are cleaned, sweets are prepared and families come together celebrating not just crops but continuity. Beyond festivity, Makar Sankranti holds deep spiritual meaning. Devotees across North India take holy dips in rivers like the Ganga and Yamuna, believing the sun's northward movement brings purification and renewal. Prayers are offered to Suryadev, the sun god, seeking health, prosperity and inner balance. In Bihar and West Bengal, the festival is known as Posh Sankranti. Riverbanks become centers of devotion, fairs and community gatherings, blending faith with celebration. In southern India, the festival takes the form of Pongal and Sankranti Sambaralu, celebrated over 4 days in Tamil Nadu, Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh. Homes are adorned with colorful columns or rangoli and special dishes made from freshly harvested rice, jaggery and milk are prepared, offering gratitude to the sun, cattle and the land. From north to south, east to west, Makar Sankranti beautifully reflects India's unity in diversity, a nation thanking nature, honoring tradition and welcoming new beginnings. Kriti Vadhera's report for DD India.
Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi also extended his greetings on the auspicious occasion of Makar Sankranti and wished the divine moment filled with the sweetness of sesame seeds and jaggery rooted in Indian culture and traditions bring joy, prosperity and success to everyone's life. Well, Hyderabad skies are becoming increasingly dangerous for birds due to the continued use of banned Chinese manja for kite flying. The sharp glass-coated strings used during Makar Sankranti easily entangle birds, often causing serious injuries to their wings and vital organs. Dedicated NGOs like Animal Warriors are working tirelessly to rescue, treat and rehabilitate injured birds, and animal activists remain hopeful that kite flyers choose safer alternatives. Take a look.
Hyderabad skies are turning risky for birds because of the continued use of banned Chinese manja or strings for flying kites. These sharp glass-coated strings used for kite flying during Makar Sankranti easily entangle birds, causing severe injuries to their wings or vital organs. Makar Sankranti festival, locally known as Sankranti Sambarolu, coincides with the peak migratory season when thousands of birds arrive in the region. Dedicated NGOs like Animal Warriors work round the clock to rescue, treat and rehabilitate injured birds. But the task may not be easy.
We used to get more than 50 plus birds in 2 weeks. And in a month, more than 150 plus birds. So this is the major count last year we have rescued. And in that, more than 40 to 50 birds, they don't survive. The criticality is very more.
Depending on the injury, it will be like, success rate of the recovery. And most of the birds, they collapse in halfway of the rescues itself because it's due to severe bleeding or else head injuries. And when wing is cut, due to handling, when main thing is like due to Chinese manja, so many birds in our area, they are losing their wings and their their life.
The group, however, said that people have become more aware about injuries to birds, and the administration has been working to stop the use of Chinese manja.
Comparative to last year, this year the bird rescues have increased because due to the awareness of the common people that they know the whom to call and what to do. Even common people are very responsive this year. People, whenever they see any injured bird, they are actually calling any NGOs or department.
Animal activists remain hopeful that kite flyers will choose safer alternatives and help protect Hyderabad's precious bird population.
In North India marks the harvest season, bringing communities together to rejoice with bonfires, folk songs and traditional festivities symbolizing prosperity and gratitude. Take a look at this report.
Lohri, a festival that celebrates togetherness and resilience, is being marked with great enthusiasm across northern India. In Samba, people from several villages came together to perform traditional rituals around the sacred fire, celebrating the spirit of unity. In Dehradun, the Sikh community celebrated with great enthusiasm, dancing energetically to the beats of the Bhangra, lighting the sacred Lohri fire and performing traditional rituals with devotion. Some participants shared festive wishes and said Lohri has now become a celebration for people across the country.
लोहड़ी अब सिख समाज का ही जो पर्व नहीं रहा है, ये तो पूरे हिंदुस्तान में ये पर्व मनाया जाता है. अब ये पर्व सबका हो गया है.
Rooted in timeless tradition, Lohri celebrates life, nature and shared joy. Observed for generations, the lighting of the sacred Lohri fire each year serves as a reminder of India's agricultural heritage and the joy of community bonding.
Large-scale community kitchens are ensuring that no pilgrim goes hungry as Prayagraj in Uttar Pradesh state host Magh Mela. With thousands arriving every day, these kitchens combine modern machinery with divine devotion to serve free meals on a large scale. From high-capacity machines that make the roti a sort of flat bread to round-the-clock volunteers, food distribution centres are fully prepared for the rush on the major bathing days.
Large-scale bhandaras or community kitchens have been set up across Prayagraj as the Magh Mela continues to draw thousands of devotees every day. These Anna-Kshetras or food distribution centers at the sprawling grounds serve free meals to thousands of pilgrims. They are equipped with large machines capable of mass production of rotis. A single machine can make up to 2,000 rotis an hour, ensuring that the bhandaras can serve large numbers of people in a very short time.
क्या है कि भीड़ का जो अभी जो गवर्नमेंट की गाइडलाइंस है, जैसा कि आप जानते हैं कि 15 से 20 करोड़ लोगों की है, तो उसी की तरीके से हम लोग पहले से हम लोग प्रिपेयर्ड हैं. इसीलिए अपनी पास लेटेस्ट मशीनरी है जिसके मतलब माध्यम से हम लोग बहुत सारे लोगों को बहुत ही कम समय में भोजन करवा सकते हैं. और एक मशीन जो आपकी है वो 1 घंटे में 2000 रोटी देती है. तो अभी जब दोनों मशीन चलने लगेगी तो 1 घंटे में 4000 रोटी मिलेगी. अगर 5 घंटे आपकी चलती है तो लगभग 20,000 रोटी आपकी तैयार होगी. तो 5000 लोग भोजन करेंगे. और जब सेवा का स्तर बढ़ेगा, 10,000 लोग होंगे तो 10 घंटे मशीन चलेगी.
The organizers of these bhandaras say they are well prepared to handle the expected rush on major bathing days.
लगभग नित्य 5000 की संख्या में हम लोगों को प्रसाद वितरण कर रहे हैं, भोजन करा रहे हैं. 2 मशीन हमारी आटा सेकने की लगी हुई है, निरंतर चल रही है. और हमारी तैयारी है कि आने वाले महा स्नान पर्व मौनी अमावस्या पर अगर 50,000 लोग भी यहाँ आते हैं तो उनको बड़े प्रेम से भोजन कराया जाएगा.
Each bhandara serves meals to between 5,000 and 10,000 people daily. With machines churning out rotis faster than they can be consumed, no pilgrim goes hungry, no matter how long the queues.
Well, from the crunch of the famous til pita and the melt-in-the-mouth goodness of narikol laru to the smoky flavour of sungasol, Assam is all set for the festival of the year, that is Bhogali Bihu. The toil of farmers has fructified and is ready to be served on platters of Assamese households. Our correspondent Subina Roy takes us to the villages of Dakunakana to experience the authentic feel of Bhogali Bihu.
A 67-kilometer drive from Dibrugarh lands us in the beautiful village of Kathorbari in Dhakwakana, Lakhimpur district. Known for its rich natural beauty, especially during the mustard season when it's called the Yellow Paradise. A perfect sight to witness the authentic Bhogali festivities of Assam. Situated just next to the Brahmaputra river, each one of the villagers have their barns now filled with paddy, and now it's time to celebrate Bhogali Bihu. The first day of Magh Bihu is known as Uruka. The youngsters are busy cutting wood, preparing the traditional bhelaghors. This time they have decided on the theme of radio, as villagers still connect with the traditional media of Doordarshan and radio. A feast is being prepared by the youngsters of the Kathorbari village as they pass the night in the bhelaghors, warming themselves up by the fire and making use of the vegetables that they steal from the backyards of the villagers
which is considered an age-old tradition. The conjunction of the month of Posh and Magh is known as Bhogali Bihu in Assam, and during this eve you can see local women, local men, the villagers come together and celebrate the harvesting season, where each and every Assamese households have their rice barns filled with rice, and no household is left poor. And you visit any household of Assam and you will get food out there, and that is why it is called Bhogali Bihu. Happy Bhogali Bihu with dedicated Dibrugarh team. Subina Roy, DD India.
Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi attended Pongal celebrations at Union Minister L. Murugan's residence in New Delhi a little while back. Prime Minister Modi greeted the people of Tamil Nadu on Pongal, praising the state farmers and its rich cultural heritage. In his address, Prime Minister Modi said, Pongal is a shining example of the grand Tamil tradition and emphasized its role in fostering unity and celebrating agricultural life. Pongal, which is celebrated at the onset of Uttarayan, is a 4-day Tamil harvest festival celebrating gratitude to the sun god, Mother Nature and farm animals for a bountiful harvest, marking the start of the auspicious Tamil month of Thai. Well, on the occasion, Prime Minister extended his greetings to the people for all the festivals being celebrated across the country right now, including Lodi and Makar Sankranti and Bhogali Bihu, and said that celebrating Pongal with everyone was a very pleasant experience for him. Prime Minister began his speech with the Tamil salutation, Vanukam, and he mentioned about the importance of Tamil culture and history and his association with it as well. He said that saving the soil, water and using resources carefully was very important for the coming generations. And he said that sustainable farming was very important and how the youth is moving ahead with new ideas, and he encouraged them to give even more ideas. He also mentioned the importance of idea of per drop, more crop, so that every drop of water can be used very carefully. He said that the government is making all efforts to empower the farmers even more, and he said that today's India is moving forward in all the fields. In fact, in his letter, the Prime Minister wrote that Pongal reflects the close bond between human labour and nature and underlined its deep connection with farming, rural life and the dignity of work. And he acknowledged the contribution of farmers and workers as well, noting that the festival reinforces unity, gratitude and togetherness across generations. Also highlighting Tamil Nadu's cultural legacy, Prime Minister Modi said Pongal is a shining symbol of Tamil traditions and expressed pride in Tamil being one of the world's oldest languages. He added that the festival has grown beyond regional boundaries and is now celebrated with enthusiasm across India and by Tamil communities worldwide. Prime Minister also noted that families come together during Pongal to prepare traditional dishes and share joy, strengthening social bonds as well. And concluding his message, he wished the people prosperity, success and good health, expressing hope that the festival would bring happiness to their. Across India's southern state of Tamil Nadu, also the spirit of Pongal is already in the air, and the 4-day festival reflects unity, tradition and joy. In fact, celebrated in mid-January. It's a 4-day festival and it's called the Bhogi, the Thai Pongal, where the sun god is worshipped and dishes are cooked. The Matu Pongal, honoring the cattle, and the Kanum Pongal, where family gatherings are done. The festival also involves cooking a special rice dish, which you can see on your screens as well, also called the Pongal, that overflows, symbolizing prosperity, and features bonfires, traditional column art, and feasting as well. This is a 4-day festival. This is a 4-day festival. On day 1 is celebrated the Bhogi Pongal, where a day for cleansing and renewal. People discard old belongings, clean their homes and light bonfires. On day 2, that is the Thai or the Surya Pongal, is the main day dedicated to the sun god, and families prepare the sweet Pongal dish with rice, milk and jaggery and offer it to the sun god. Also, now let's go on to some business news. Asian stocks rose on Wednesday, buoyed by Japanese shares as investors braced for a snap election in Japan. Geopolitical tensions across the globe lifted gold to a record peak and sent oil prices even higher. The Japanese yen hit its weakest level since July 2024 at 159.415 per dollar in early Asian hours. The frail yen and the prospect of more stimulus sent the Nikkei more than 1% to a record and pushed MSCI's broadest index of Asia-Pacific shares was up by 0.2% to hover just below a record peak, which reached on Tuesday. Overnight, U.S. stocks ended lower, led by a drop in financial shares. The S&P 500 lost 13.53 points, while the Nasdaq Composite lost 24.03 points. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell by 398.21 points. And Boeing secured orders for nearly 1,200 commercial planes last year, topping European rival Airbus for the first time since 2018, according to the figures released. The U.S. aviation giant booked 175 orders in December, taking the total for 2025 to 1,173. Airbus on Monday disclosed net orders of 889 aircraft for the year. Boeing still lags behind Airbus in terms of the total number of undelivered planes, following stumbles in the wake of fatal 2018 and 2019 crashes of 737 MAX that have weighed on the U.S. company. But Boeing on Tuesday also received a boost from an order by Delta Airlines to purchase 30 Boeing 787 Dreamliner with options for 30 more of the wide-body jet. Delta CEO Ed Bastian said Delta is the only major U.S. airline that does not use the popular Boeing plane. He said the company is confident in Boeing, pointing to improvements under CEO Kelly Ortberg. Well, you're watching TT India News Hour. Time now for some sports news. India takes on New Zealand on the second one-day international in Rajkot on Wednesday with aim to seal the series. With 1-0 lead in the 3-match series, Men in Blue will hope to press the home advantage to gain the decisive lead. But Kiwis are not a pushover, as they have showed their mettle in the opener by putting up a spirited fight. The stage is set for a thrilling contest with both the teams vying for the crucial win.
India will aim to clinch another one-day international when they lock horns with New Zealand in the second encounter at Rajkot. India lead the 3-match series by 1-0 with a 4-wicket victory in the opening encounter. Virat Kohli once again played a match-winning 93-run knock, while Shubman Gill scored vital half-century and Shreyas Iyer looked solid following his return from injury. There were also positives for New Zealand. Openers Devon Conway and Henry Nicholls both slammed 50s, while Daryl Mitchell came up with an impressive 84-run knock. Kylie Jamieson was arguably the best pacer with 4 wickets. India would hope to press home advantage once again to outplay the Kiwis. The hosts suffered a setback when Washington Sundar was ruled out of the series due to an injury. The selectors have called up Delhi batter Ayush Badoni, but it is likely that all-rounder Nitish Kumar Reddy will get the nod. Overall, both the teams have played 121 ODIs, with India holding the upper hand with 63 victories, while New Zealand were victorious in 50 matches. One match ended in tie and 7 produced no result. In the last 5 matches, India have dominated New Zealand, winning all. Now the stage is set for an exciting second one-day as both the teams aim to gain an upper hand. Sports Desk, DD India.
All right, that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lipakshi Khurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.